Hello, everybody, and welcome back to another episode of Prematch Muti. And in the house, we have a good squad. We've got a very good squad. We've got West Ham, the Hammerhead Rich, making an appearance today with the traditional South African flag as well as the Hammer flag. We've got frigging Dinganator, the Dingosaurus, wearing a Real Madrid shirt because he's so ashamed to wear his Arsenal shirt. We've got Nick, who has a stylist at his house. He's going to be playing with his head today, hopefully. We've got Silo, you know Silo, our financial guy. He's there, Devil's Peak representing today, yes or no?
Ah, man, always, bro. Always.
By the end of the season, you're going to be fat, man. You're going to be drinking too much of that stuff.
Hey, man, I was at the gym earlier, man. Flip, bro. I was sweating within 5 minutes of just being there. I was like, wait. I was like, damn, man.
There you have it, guys. Devil's Peak is also there to help you with your fitness sessions. And then lastly, we've got Mostas Sele, the Tooth Fairy, a.k.a. dubbed Magic Feet, allegedly, by Diego Maradona. The jury's out on that. Who actually believes that, guys? Put your hands up if you believe that.
He took it with
it. It doesn't matter if you believe it or not, so it is what it is.
All right. We've got a lot to cover, guys. A lot of football, a lot of things to discuss. So let's kick it off immediately. Rich, you weren't here on Tuesday because you were actually watching this game. You thought, your time couldn't be separated because you are that much of an analyst. You want to know exactly what Antonio is doing for your team. So please, how did this game go?
Oh, bro, I'm buzzing. Another 3 points for the lads. 4 wins in a row in all competitions, 3 in the league. So I'm very, very proud of the boys. Sam Allardyce coming back to his old stomping ground. He kind of shut up shop and he parked the bus a bit. West Brom came out a bit better in the second half and they offered more, obviously, when they got their goal. But, in that first half, we dominated. We should have had 1 or 2. Luckily, Ben Rama did really well for us and put in a great cross that Kufal hit back across and Bowen scored. And I think that was a massive goal for Jared Bowen, who's struggled with goals. I think that was his first goal in his last 11 games. So that was huge for him. They got the equalizer beginning of the second half, which was a real kick in the teeth for us. But, they deserved it. They had a decent spell of play for about 10, 15 minutes. And then, luckily, we have Messi up top, and he did the business again. Another goal for Antonio. When he's fit and firing, West Ham are firing. And at the end of the day, we definitely deserved the 3 points. So I'm just delighted. 2 points off top 4 now after 19 games. It's wild for any West Ham fan.
Yeah. I don't think it was fair.
Dream.
We can dream.
They can. I've been saying they're title contenders, guys. The last 5 games? It's the last 5 games. They haven't lost.
Top 4 contenders, they can dream, yeah.
Rich, what happened with that whole thing with Sam Allardyce after the game, speaking about Robert Snodgrass not being allowed to play? There was something deal, and apparently the Premier League are going to investigate that.
Yeah, so I can't believe it's got to that stage because apparently what the deal was when we sold him to West Brom is that we said he can't play against us in the league, which to me sounds a bit fishy because you can't really have that type of thing in a contract unless it's a loan type of deal. So immediately I was a bit confused by that. But even in the press conferences leading up to the game, I think Moyes had made a note of it. So it was well known. But Sam came out and there's people kind of picking up and saying, listen, there might be something wrong there. I wouldn't put it past us to have done something illegal. West Ham have done some shady business in the past. But hopefully it can get sorted sooner rather than later. I hope people are saying points deduction and everything, and I'm just going, nah, surely not.
No, that's madness.
Yeah. Could you imagine? I think a lot of those shady deals were done by Sam Allardyce. So I think he knows the ins and outs and probably why he's calling it out.
Exactly. That man has got his fingers in so many pies. He's a dirty old man, that man. So I was glad we could on him.
But what's this? Just Rich and the other guys, what do you guys think of Pereira from West Brom? Like that guy, a couple of games that I've watched him, and also when they got promoted, he was spoken about so much because he was one of the best players in the championship, and like that goal was too good. And then also he scored the 2 penalties against Wolves. He scored an amazing free kick against, I think, Leeds earlier in the season as well. Like a very good left foot. I think a lot of teams in the Premier League, if West Brom do get relegated, should be looking at him. I don't know if Newcastle would fit his style because Newcastle doesn't really get on the ball much. But, other teams like a Southampton, a West Ham who do get on the ball, Newcastle could be relegated as well, so we don't know. But that Pereira guy, and I think look at him.
Shots fired there.
He's their best player. He's their best player by a country mile. Like, he just has such a small sense of gravity. He's so tricky. And as you say, he's popped up with so many goals for them. So I think if they are going to stay up, he's going to be the key man to make sure they beat the drop, because he's popping in with assists, goals. They don't score a lot, West Brom. So he's going to need to step up if they are going to survive this season.
I think Sam Allardyce's biggest achievement would be to, if they do get relegated, at least sell him to Man United. Hey, Silva.
Hey man, I think in the creative areas it's a bit crowded at Man United. Donny van de Beek can't even get a game. So hey man,
Poor Donny van de Beek. All right, guys. Leicester 2-0. Wonga predicted this correctly, guys. We said Chelsea are in big shit. And Musa, hey, tell us what happened there.
The shit's at the fan for real. Look, going into the game, I also didn't think that Chelsea had a fighting chance to get the result from this one. And yeah, that proved to be the outcome. We didn't have any kind of flair on the day. We didn't have any kind of expression. Leicester were the better team on all accounts. They looked like they were more aggressive. They were passing the ball a lot better, and they've got players who are on song right now. Madison is a great player, and you could see from his touches and his expression that he's always menacing around the goal box. He's got a lot of nice tricky touches for him, and yeah, man, Chelsea are just super flat at the moment, and I think all the questions about Frank Lampard now are really, really starting to fester about his future at the club in the managerial position.
Yeah, man, and it doesn't get easier. It doesn't. Like, the next 3 games are Wolves, Burnley, and then I think it's Spurs. So I reckon if he doesn't get anything out of those 3 games, I think Mourinho could end his career.
Yeah,
at Chelsea.
yeah.
Sure.
Yeah, I think the next 2 are going to be a big test for him. Spurs, it'll be fair if we don't take all 3 points from that game, given their current form as well. But the next 2 we have to bring out a better performance, and at least just so show some kind of resolve, some type of system or some type of flow. It's a tricky thing with Chelsea right now. It just looks like a bunch of guys that are on the field trying to do as best as they can individually and not really coming into like a team approach, which is sad, man, and it speaks so much about the manager and his approach.
I think the Leipzig coach actually came out recently after the loss and suggested that Chelsea need to change their tactics to suit Timo Werner. I don't know.
Ralph Hasenhüttl.
Yeah, I sort of was it him? Was it Ralph who said that?
Yeah, it was Ralph, Southampton's manager.
So it was a former.
Yeah, he used to coach him at Leicester.
Yeah. So I mean, I personally don't believe that. I think players need to be sort of dynamic enough to adapt to styles, because what are you gonna say that a player needs to stay at a club for his whole career? I think only Messi can do that. Handful of players in the world can do that. So I think that's quite a harsh statement, especially to a coach who's trying to get something right. And the players need to also take responsibility. I mean, I complain about Steve Bruce, but the players at Newcastle also they need to take responsibility for the poor performances.
Yeah, 100%, man. And also to actually build a team around a player like Timo Werner, you can see his current form, and he hasn't scored enough goals for the club, and he doesn't look like he's going to score anytime soon. So I don't know how you could actually build the whole team around him, because his form at the moment wouldn't be the greatest approach to actually build it around him. But sad, because he's such a quality talent.
Musa, man, what's this guy's name? Frank Lampard's cousin never says anything bad about him. Jamie
Redknapp.
Redknapp can never say anything bad about his cousin. He always has to protect him and say good and say
family first, bro.
He was criticizing Callum Hudson-Odoi and Chilwell. I think those are 2 players he criticized for the way they performed 2 nights ago. What do you think of the performance of Callum Hudson-Odoi? Because we've been seeing on social media and yourself saying that he needs to start, and he started, but obviously didn't deliver the goods.
Yeah, man. Like, when he did come on in the previous games as a substitute, he did have a lot of energy and a lot of impetus for the club. He added a lot of directness, creating opportunities and getting a lot of crosses in. But in this instance, man, you could be, I don't know, man. I don't know what's going wrong, because he didn't look like he was up for it when he did start. And to give him another opportunity to start a game is asking for a lot. It's a big club where players can be replaced at any point. He is young, so potentially he'll be comfortable with coming on as a sub in the future. But I don't know if we can really start it from the get-go. Chilwell, I think he's doing his job, to be honest. I think there's very little that you can blame him for at this point in time. I'd blame James and Reece James, because he gets caught out of position a lot of times, committing silly free kicks at times. It's quite scary that players at that level, especially when you've got replacements like Goalloungtv there, are doing those kind of mistakes. Sometimes you have to kind of pull the plug on the youngsters.
Musa, who started at CDM for you guys? Was it Kovacic?
Yeah, so Kante was out, Jorginho was out. I think it was Kovacic. In front of him was
the prodigal son, Mount.
It was probably Mount.
Mount and Havertz.
Yeah. Look, on paper, it looks like Kovacic can do that role of being like the box-to-box type of midfielder, where he can do the dirty work and also express himself a bit, get other players onto the ball going forward. But it's just not working at this point in time. And unfortunately, the goals didn't come from his kind of area. The goals were like lapses in concentration from the fullback, James, and then that Ndidi goal was unfortunate, I think, sloppy clearances from the defenders. But yeah, man, there has to be some type of solution. I can't wait to have Kante back in full fitness and also like sharpness, because we really do miss that type of aggressive, biting sentiment that can, block type of transition in play and also, bring a lot of energy to the midfield.
I want to ask everyone. I read something on what's this on social media. They were saying that if you're the England manager for the Euros, you can only take 2 of these 4 players. Which one would you pick? Foden, Mount, Grealish, and Maddison. You can only pick 2. Which one would you pick? I could only say Grealish for sure, but then the other 3 I was just like, but I was like,
I'd take all of them if I had the choice. Jeez.
So I couldn't decide, man. I was like Grealish 100%, but I just couldn't decide on the other 3, and I was like, Maddison is so hot right now, but Foden is in multiple positions. Mount has heart. So who is it? I was like Grealish, and so what do you guys think?
Yeah, for me, Grealish, definitely Grealish. You're right. The second one would be a difficult one.
Yeah, I guess with the other players, it'd be tricky because I'd be looking post like the Euros, right? Like if we could get a Foden there, he'd get the experience and be able to lead the team in the next kind of tournament. So I'd put a Foden and a Grealish. Mount is a good player, but I'm not too sure if he'll be able to bench players like Grealish, because he'd be competing in the same position. Right?
Southgate loves that guy, bro.
Yeah, I know he's gonna pick. He will pick Mount, because what you've seen is that he's even played Mount out of position on the wing, like Lampard does sometimes.
What is this guy doing, guys? What is he doing that these guys love him so? Like, I know he's a good player, and right now he's carrying Chelsea. Let's be honest, he is baby Lampy number 2.
He's not carrying them very high at the moment. He's still fucking languishing in 8th position.
You need to play Billy Gilmore more, bro. I'm telling you, Billy Gilmore is the future. I'm telling you now.
That guy
can jam.
He hears about him.
Yeah, Scott will get a hard on you, right?
Can jam.
Or Billy Gilmore.
But are you going to win the league? Because I know you told us a couple of weeks ago you're going to win the league, Musa.
What a pipe dream! What a pipe dream, man.
So you're fighting for,
and that's the scary thing. Like we really have to make a few critical decisions regarding the future now, because if we let this continue, even top 4 won't look like it's a possibility for us, So. Fuck, we really have to make the decision. And I'm in the camp now of saying Lampard out, believe it or not, because we're not really I don't see what he's going to bring to that bunch of players, Is there approach, is there a style that he's going to bring? I love his legacy for the club, and I don't want to tarnish it in any way, but if he carries on in this sense, wow.
So
How do you feel?
why don't we do a swap? We'll do a swap. I'll take Frank's contract, you take Bruce's contract, and then we go from there. Bruce has won the league. He was a player, won the league with Man United. He's got pedigree there. What do you think about that, Wonga? I can see you smiling there.
Smiling, I'm laughing. It's a joke.
No, man. Musa, I wanted to ask you in terms of if we're looking at Chelsea right now, and I know you're saying, okay, fine, Frank out. How would you feel if he was out because of Mourinho?
Because of?
Mourinho sending him packing. So the game against Spurs, they give him a hiding, and that's how he goes.
Didn't really hurt my feelings too much, man. Even if he was just packing tomorrow, it didn't really hurt my feelings too much, to be honest.
Okay. So new question then, Musa. New question. Fine. Frank out. Who's coming in then? Who's coming in?
Oh, that's a good question.
It's tough. It's really, really tough. I'd go
You can't be one of those guys. You can't be one of those guys. You can't be one of those guys saying out, but you don't have contingency plans.
Yeah, true. I'd go for Massimiliano Allegri. He's done very well. He's got his defensive approach on lock. He's Italian by expression. He can play with big players. He can manage them well, and he can bring the best out of young talent. So I'd go for him going forward. He has good European experience, but hasn't worked in out of Italy, which is potentially his only pitfall. But I think he'd cope. A lot of managers have come from Italy into the English Premier League and done well. So I think I'd go for him. We can afford him as well, which is
particularly in Chelsea's case, they've done well. The Italian coaches,
can rival up or pump up the boys in the change room, which would be nice.
Yeah. All right. Well, let's. Chelsea's had their airtime, guys. We watched this game yesterday. Man City 2-0 against Villa, and it wasn't as easy as what it's saying there. On paper, it wasn't an easy.
Yeah.
One guy was saying he looked at it, and he was the only guy in our chat that said 100% offside.
He looked at the rules.
No,
I said onside. Wonga was looking at the rules and saying, Rodgers is onside, guys, and not looking at it from a point of view of, guys, just think about it. You know what I mean? And actually, interestingly enough, later on that night, right, Juventus was playing Super Cup against Napoli. Something similar happened where Cristiano Ronaldo took the ball away from the right back of Napoli. The right back from Napoli traps the ball, and as he traps the ball, Cristiano comes from behind him and takes the ball, and they say offside. Cool, yes, maybe Mings took, touches, chased, put down 1, 2, and then took the ball. But it's quite a similar situation where a player from an offside position comes from behind. You don't see the player, nicks the ball, and then in the Italian game, offside. In the English Premiership game, not offside.
I think the biggest thing that they need to try and work out is when does the next phase of play start? So I think their determination of the phase of play was him taking a touch. But in my opinion, that was a shit touch. He took a touch. And you're gonna, if this is gonna be the case, you're gonna have strikers camping behind defenders, waiting for that scenario to happen. And those defenders are gonna think they have time on the ball. And as soon as they control the ball, they're gonna run back. I don't know. There's a huge grey area there, and I think Michael Owen was quite clear about it last night. They're probably going to have to change that. Is there a second once the ball is released? But I also understand from the other perspective, then that defender can just take a touch and not be confronted for how long? For how long? I don't know.
Like if you look at it from an attacking point of view as well, right? I remember I even saw a goal from Barcelona do it a lot. That's the thing I've seen them. So when they're attacking, when the striker, let's say Griezmann's on the left, he gets the ball. Messi, they pass to Messi in the center. They pass the ball to Messi in a striking position. Messi's offside. He skips the ball. The right wing comes and collects the ball. Messi hasn't interfered. He literally stands still, doesn't interfere with play, leaves the ball to run through, go to the right wing, who's onside. Then Messi moves back to as the wing is approaching the ball, Messi moves back to an onside position, so he's behind the ball. The winger plays it in, then he scores. Is that a goal or not a goal?
That's a goal, man.
That's
some-
the key. But then
it's
it's the same.
They're
Then it's the same thing in the
recycling
defense as well. It's the same thing with the defense as well, because the defender literally has one touch. So if it can happen in the attack position, then why can't it happen when
But
if
you
it can happen
didn't-
with the same team attacking? Why can't it happen with the guy when he's defending? That's what I can't understand. If you must look behind him. He's taking a shit touch. For me, that's his problem. That's his problem. The next player plays playing. Understand, but now
agree.
you can't make the rules
It was
to
a
protect
bad
them. That's
touch.
what I'm saying.
It was a bad touch, but as a defender, that's your natural movement. So now must Mings, because the guy's offside and the ball comes over, just leave the ball and go, he's standing offside. You know, your
Yeah,
natural
so-
instinct is to go attack the ball. So that's
Yes,
the
but-
problem.
People
But
say
look,
that's what he's
he had
supposed to
time.
do. He's supposed to leave the ball and look over and just look at it and say, "Oh, okay, can this guy touch the ball first?" And because he's offside, that's what you want
Then
to do.
you're gonna have a problem of a deeper line midfielder running and waiting
the
for
run.
that ball to
And
bounce
taking the
and
ball,
they
yeah.
attack it anyway. So I mean,
100%.
it is a big grey area, and I think it's not going to happen very often, but it's obviously exposed the laws. It's exposed the
Yeah.
laws to an extent where they're going to have to look at it.
But for me, I can't lie to you guys. For me, I see it as clear as daylight. Like, I don't understand. I can't, like, for me, if I can't, the defender,
No,
why must we not protect him?
You just see it
That's what I'm saying.
like that. You just see it like that because Villa is around the same place that Arsenal is. That's why. You are scared about Villa getting more points. That's why, right? You know, they're like this. So the team that's around you, you want the team around you to drop points. You know what I mean? So you can get ahead. Because we were all saying previously is that Arsenal, yes, they're ahead of Villa, but Villa's got 4 games in hand. Cool. -1, they lost it. Now they got 3 games in hand of Arsenal, and now you that on the weekend that Brucey here can do. Is it Bruce that's playing him? Yeah, Bruce can do him a favor on the weekend. You know what I mean? So that's another one that you wish Bruce can do some match fixing. You know, so you know that's you, Arsenal.
But I start looking at it as from a player's point of view. Now, why must we protect the defender now? I mean, it's literally the same thing in the. I'd be interested in what Jason has to say about it as well. Strikers are going to slowly recover on purpose in order.
Guys, all Wonga's
For
thinking
me,
about is that
if
time
that's-
when
that's it.
Thierry Henry was waiting behind the goalkeeper. Remember that one instance. He was
That's
smart
fine.
and waited for the keeper to drop the ball and he snuck. That's all this guy's got in his mind. He's like,
Yeah.
they robbed Arsenal all those years ago. This is justice
No.
for Henry.
No, but I mean, I don't know if the rule said you can't do that, then you can't do that. Doesn't make sense to me. But for me, that's what I can't see anything wrong with it. The defender must be aware. He knows the rule. If they're gonna take time to recover,
but
then
Wonga,
so they
but
must do
Wonga,
it.
but also, Wonga, you see now, even your camera knows you're talking shit.
Even
Like,
if you-
let's think about it. No, but let's think about it, Wonga.
Yes.
As a defender, now you're saying the defender must be aware that this guy was so lazy to recover that he's now gambling on this opportunity. The defender is watching the ball's being cleared. He's like, his first job is to deal with what's coming his way because now he's the last line of defense. He is. His whole line stepped up. He knows if that ball gets played through to him, he's offside. So why the hell should he be bothered by that guy? And especially when the ball comes to him now, he's looking forward because this guy should be out of action. Now you're telling me he needs to be aware while the guy's technically out of the game if that's a direct pass to him. It's a double standard. It's a huge double standard.
And he even acknowledged the fact that bad first touch, but he was like, I didn't know that guy's offside, but yes, I did have a bad first touch and I probably should have dealt with it. But still, this guy had an advantage from coming from behind me and then taking the ball from me.
Yeah.
Okay, now I get what you guys are saying, but if it can happen in the attack, for me, if
No,
it can
but-
happen, if Messi, if they can do it in the attack, then why can't it happen in defense? Literally, one team can do it. Skip a ball, guy come back into offside position, the next phase of play, then they must sort that out then, because I can't, for me, I didn't see anything.
No, it's all good. It's all good,
Lie to you.
Dermot. It's all
I
good.
see it fun. I see it fun.
Guys,
Wonga, you
Wonga-
speak
Wonga's
better
an
than Dermot, bro. You speak more sense than Dermot, so
That's true.
Fair play.
Dermot never wants to say anything wrong, guys. That guy just
I can't stand it, bro.
because he's like he's probably thinking the next day they're gonna say Dermot Gallagher said. You know what I mean? He's like.
But you know, the problem with him as well is he's meant to be impartial, but the issue is he's developed a relationship with these people when they're on the show, and he's like, he's expected to be the face of the ridiculous decisions that are being made. So he's also like, whoa, this is my reputation now that's also being at stake. So he's always very cautious as to how he pretty much navigates that. But let's talk about someone who wasn't cautious. And, Poggy Ball seems to be back, dude. Is he playing to stay for the season, or is he going, this is my shot to win the league with United and then dip out? Or do you think he'll stay beyond that?
I just want to remind you, Claudio, there's a friend of mine in this show. He's all the way in the King of the North. Nick loves Pogba, probably more than me, and we always backed him and believed in him. Musa backed him as well. So we're not surprised by what we're seeing. Claudio, you seem to be surprised.
Very much surprised.
But we aren't surprised. So we just like, okay, cool. It's another day for the man of the match of the World Cup final. And just him doing his thing. And just play.
I will say this. I'm saying this because it's been the last couple of games, and it's actually he's becoming a stallion with the consistency. Before I thought it was a show pony, in my opinion. Now he's becoming the stallion.
No,
what do you mean you're a show pony, bro?
The last
dancing around there.
So after that Champions League exit, which was beginning of December, he's definitely been one of our top 3 best players since beginning of December. Yeah, I mean he's working hard. I think what's most impressive about what he's doing is that we always knew how he could affect games going forward in terms of his passes and so forth. But the fact his defensive work has been really amazing. Working hard. There was a challenge that he made. He had a yellow card in the first 12 minutes, right? But then he still made challenges. He lost the ball some other time, and then Looming went down the left flank. He chased him down, got the ball back, and then passed the ball to Wan-Bissaka, and then we went on our attack. So he's definitely showing a lot of energy in the midfield. And Solskjaer just needs to play him in the middle in the bigger games, because if that's the only way we can win the big games is if he plays Pogba in the middle.
And BMT, man, he's got the biggest BMT in the whole squad.
Exactly.
But this is the thing I'm saying. You say, evidence. He's won the World Cup. We know he's got the BMT, but like Porical's saying over here, it's always seemed like he didn't care. Now I'm trying to figure this out. I'm trying to say, okay, well, what's you might argue and say he did care, but the performance on the pitch always seemed like he was nonchalant about the sort of situation. Is the motivation because he's going, this is going to be my best shot to win the league with Man United, and then I can leave,
my problem is that people have very short memories, so they forget the season where he was in the Premier League Team of the Year. Firstly, he was in the team of the Europa League when we won the Europa League. So he has had seasons where he performed well for Man United. You know what I mean? He scored scored the most goals for a midfielder since Yaya Toure in one season where he had about 14 goals and 10 assists. You know what I mean? So I think it's because you're a Liverpool fan, you don't really watch him. You don't know about those performances.
That argument is pop. That one. I don't like that. That's also
no. You don't watch him. But I will say good things about Sadio Mane. You know what I mean? And I know that he's a better player than Mohamed Salah.
I'm not saying it because he's a United player. I'm saying it even before he went to United. I'm saying it based on what I see. I call what I see, dude. I'm not biased to a man's shirt.
So you're
saying as a Liverpool fan, I'm biased, but you are neutral because that's how you see. No, I'm telling you what I feel and what I saw, and I'm saying now the man's doing this thing. And all I'm trying to get to is what is his motivation right now?
You remind me a bit of Jamie.
What is his motivation?
You remind me a bit of Jamie Carragher sometimes.
I think I could get on really well with him. I'm not gonna lie, I think I could get on well. And you know what? It also remind me of Gary Neville being all whimsical sometimes. Gary's
not handsome, but I'm a handsome young man. But in all honesty, right, Claudio?
Has Martial scored?
Pogba wants to give. I think Pogba as well, right? The reason he's playing like this as well is that he actually sees an opportunity to win the league with Man United this season, and the frustration he showed when he missed that chance against Liverpool. He hit his first to the ground. You know what I mean? He was not happy. about missing that chance. You know what I mean? And him scoring that goal, it's almost like, Philip, I missed my last shot at goal. Let me take another shot, and I score this time. And at the end, like, he was like celebrating, and you could see that he means a lot to him. It's not just about saying, I want to play well so I can leave. You know, a player can say, I want to play well because I want to leave, but also a player can say, I want to play well because I actually want to win something. You know what I mean? I think he's got into maybe he's a lot more mature. He's 27, 28 this. I think he's 28 this year. He's more mature, and he actually just wants to win with Man United. And if he does leave with being a winner, a champion of the league, because he's won Serie A, and then obviously now it would be great to win a Premier League, and then, you know, he can, if he move on to another club, and he would have left on a high, which works well for him and works well for the club.
Yeah, but
and I wouldn't even rule out the idea of like Pogba leaving to a bigger club, even if Man United doesn't win the league. I think his quality is that high that he could actually attract any of the biggest clubs in Europe.
No, definitely. I think it's all about budget. It's all about the budget as well of other clubs. Can they afford whatever the asking price is? And then
there are two key things that I'm going to highlight here. And the first thing is, the reason I mention this is because what you said there, his reaction. It's the first time I've seen his reaction going, shit. As a footballer, he genuinely cares about the shit he's doing on the field now. It's not a guy working for a corporate bank going, they're paying me X amount, I'm getting paid a lot, and I can do the bare minimum. Now he's going, no, fuck, I actually give a shit about what I'm doing. So that's the one thing I want to say. But the other thing is the fact that you mentioned his age, and I think that's a good point. No different to a Salah now trying to make the next move, except Salah's all over the place. Pogba going, okay, there's two things here. This is a great time. If ever there's a time to be able to win a league with United, end on a high, and secure the next big thing before my career's over. And I think and that's what I was getting at. Like, 100%. What do you think his motivation is? And I think those are the two key factors as to now. It's now or never for him as to Ollie going, how do I manage the situation? Rich, you agreeing? What do you think?
Yeah, no, I think, you know, he hasn't, for me, been as consistent as I'm sure most Man United fans would have hoped. We all know his quality. I think on his day, he can be the difference between winning and losing. He can literally decide to play and dictate the game when he wants. We had a similar thing with Payet at West Ham. You know, when he was good, West Ham were brilliant. When he was average, the whole team was average. But he could change the game if he wanted to. It's difficult to know what's going on in his head. To be honest, I'm not sure he's entirely there for Man United and for the club. I wouldn't be surprised if he's got another move lined up at the end of the season. But you know what? If he's playing well and he wins United the league this season, I don't think many fans will care if he goes. You know, they just want the trophy at the end of the day. If they win the league, they'll say goodbye to him and probably call him a legend. But it's just difficult to get in his head to know what he's thinking, because his agent is always giving this, you know, and you never really hear from the player.
I think even like what the agent was when his agent came out and said those things about Pogba. I mean, I think we also take that into consideration. I think if you look at it, I hear there's a Portuguese saying there that I mean, why was his attitude like that before? But I mean, surely there was something then that was clearly disturbing him. I mean, he wasn't happy at the club. And if you look at it even beforehand, you see, so, like you look, Silo saying, look, he liked Pogba as a player. You could see the thing with, I mean, obviously his potential, what he can do, even Nick and Musa. So you just wonder what was happening at the club. And I think also the media. I mean, we've always said this as well. The media has a big play in this, because every time, I mean, players do have bad games, but you'd seem like as if Pogba had a bad game, there wasn't a comeback. It's like, geez, what the hell? We spent this much money on this guy, and look, he's not doing anything. You know what I mean? Yeah. But with if you look at things like, I mean, Maguire, they show the harshing him and stuff. But people are saying, okay, no, look, he'll pull back, and sure, everyone was behind him coming back.
Because he's manufactured in England. You're right.
Yeah, but Pogba, I mean, it was harsh. I mean, even if you think about it, I mean, Arsenal fans are guilty for the same thing. When it came to Mesut Ozil, people were like, we don't like the way this guy runs. I mean, the way he looks when he's playing. I mean, that was his face. I mean, goodness me. That's how his face is. Literally, he left the club. You'd say, I'm happy, and that's his face. You know, that's how he is. That's when he runs, his face is like that, and people are thinking, no, it looks like he doesn't want to give his effort. But now when he's going, when he's not playing now, they're not playing him, and Arsenal's 16th on the log. It's now it's a problem. Now it's a problem that they leave him out the squad. That's for me the problem with these.
I'm only seeing Portugal's comments now. When obviously after I spoke, right, and obviously Portugal speaking as a United fan as well, right, and his point of view. I think obviously that's the thing, is that sometimes players divide opinion in fan bases, right? And Pogba has been that player who's divided opinions within a fan base, right? But I think the thing is that people right now, they think about this season, they think about the previous season. They don't even think about the fact that we came second under Mourinho, had 82 points. Pogba was quite focal to us getting second place, and that's not even the season that he had goal scoring numbers. That was the following season when Mourinho still got fired and then Ole came in. So he had those seasons where he contributed immensely to the team. When we came second, and then obviously the following season as well, and then also when we won the Europa League. So people wanna always say, yes, listen, right? He's not always been the most consistent player, right? But to say that he's never given us a good season, how can a guy be the Premier League team of the season if he doesn't give us a good season? You know what I mean?
Yeah, true.
I really don't get that. You know what I mean? That there's so many players in the Premier League, and if he's one of the 11 best players in the Premier League that season, he must have done something right, and he did do something right that season. You know what I mean? His numbers were the best midfield numbers since Yaya Toure. You know what I mean? So I think Man United fans need to remember. Also, he's been played in multiple positions. Pogba's been played 6, 8, 10. You know what I mean? And Pogba, his best position is a box to box, as an 8. You know what I mean? And he's been played in multiple positions. Mourinho did play him as a 10 sometimes. Solskjaer's played him as a 10, 8, 6. Now he even plays him as a 7, as a 11. So
right, he's been. I'm gonna slam the handbrake there, because you're right. This is legacy Pogba, but again, let's focus on current Pogba. And as we speak, United are top of the log, so things are going well. But that brings us to the next thing we want to chat about, and the next thing is who will win the Premier League, guys. I know it's difficult because we know how volatile this league is, but coming in and out, what are we saying, guys? What are we saying?
I think
Chelsea,
after
Newcastle.
I think Newcastle, but I called it in the beginning of the season. I said you can't write them off, and I think the fact that the season has been one of these crazy seasons, if you want to call it that, anyone can beat anyone, and that's always been the Premier League standard. But this year has been a little bit more sort of outrageous. City they look unstoppable. They look like they've sorted out their defensive situation at the back, and they are cruising to victory. I don't even think they're out of their third gear yet. So I personally, I wouldn't write Liverpool off. I wouldn't write City off. I think City should be favourite, rightly so now. And then Liverpool will be very close there. I don't see right now a Spurs or a Man United winning it, unfortunately, Celo.
What about Chelsea?
No.
You and Arsenal are fighting for 8th there.
No. West Ham, guys.
West Ham
They need to have a top 8.
And then
They need to have a
Newcastle
top 8.
is going to come behind you guys. If we fire our manager, we might have a chance.
Nick, I agree with you, man. I think City is the team to beat. They've had 11 games with Diaz and Stones at the heart of defense. 10 clean sheets out of those 11 games. Defense is amazing. Cancelo looks great when he plays. They obviously just need to score a bit more, because there are times when I think they are finding it a bit hard to score, But yes, the other games they score 1 goal and it just ends up being 1-0. Even like the game yesterday, it could have just been a 1-0 win. And obviously they got the penalty. But I definitely think City is the team to beat. They look the most convincing and the most solid. And their problems of last season's defense has been fixed. And I think, I'll tell you, a Man United mate of mine today, is that if Jesus and Aguero give them about 12-15 goals until the end of the season now, then they'll be, 12-15, because the other midfielders are scoring. They just need to get 12-15 from Jesus and Aguero, then they're cool.
Yeah, I think even if I look at it as well, I just like what Nick was saying, the league is up and down. And you can't write anyone off. At least Matt is not here. I hope he's also not watching. But Tottenham for me, if I look at what they've done from the beginning of the season, it's. I mean, if they can hit that run of form again, I mean, if you've got Son and Kane hitting, and maybe if Bale starts picking up, and I also think
Bale's not making a comeback, so don't even factor that. Don't factor that.
No, I'm just saying. Let's say it gets down. It's going to be.
You love Bale, eh? You also love Bale. You've got blind spots like we all do.
No, don't forget. Don't forget. Left-footed union. Sorry.
Ah, yes, of course.
Yeah. But listen. So for me, I think what I'm predict is going to happen is obviously. I think everyone is also having the feeling that there's not going to be a breakaway team from this, and I think come down to the last 5-7 games. I think that's where motivation is really, really, really going to kick in, and people are going to start, smelling that title, and I think that's where you're going to get these teams coming out. And I think if that goes down to the wire, to that sort of if it goes to that sort of phase where you get 5 teams going down there, I think Tottenham could be also competing. I think Liverpool also need to sort out what's happening.
Tonight Matip might start, and I'm telling you now, if Matip starts and we release one of the other gents in the midfield, we're going to be scoring goals. So you just watch out for that space. Bonga, man, Patya is saying, why are you wearing a Madrid shirt? I want to know.
Yes, to answer that question. Yeah, I wore this shirt because I heard today, at least it's not the best thing, but I think it's a good start with them trying to sign Martin Odegaard. Yes. Martin Odegaard.
I knew it. That's why I was wearing the shirt. Because he wants to leave, because he wants to go out on loan, and so said
the right club
in poor position to get him. But yeah, you guys are apparently wanting him. Yeah, no, he's a.
Also, you got that. Eh? Everyone got that. Everyone understood. That's why he was wearing the Real Madrid shirt. It had nothing to do with laundry. It had nothing to do with embarrassment. That's what it was.
No, you must. No one asked. No one asked me. The only person that asked me was the man Peter. It was my brother. So there we go.
He's also saying he likes our channel growth, guys. Let's say thank you to that, because we appreciate that. Thank you for tuning in. Yes,
thank you. Who's gonna win it? Sorry, I was gonna say, to finish off that, I think in the end I'll also say Man City.
So you spoke about Spurs. You spoke about Spurs for nearly 5 minutes, and then you ended off with Man City.
No, Nick was writing them off completely. I mean, not that you wrote, but you also said you gave your thoughts on Man City, and I don't want to add to that. It's correct.
I thought Mourinho was gonna lift the trophy there in your eyes. I was getting excited.
No, I'll never say that, but I think they have a good chance, to be honest with you.
Guys, I want to ask this question though. Did any of you see Maddison's post-match interview after the Chelsea game?
Yes, I saw it.
What did you guys feel about that? Because see, Portugal over here, he's saying obviously Leicester dark horses, and I said that on Tuesday. I think they're in it. And based on how he conducted himself, wow, guys. Like, that old cliche, taking a game at a time, the confidence is growing. Brendan Rodgers is doing the business, getting them to believe. And I think because of Rodgers, they are believing.
And they're winning matches at home, because they were struggling to win matches at home like Man United. And now they've won their last 2 games at home. So I think, definitely. I think their best players are coming back from injury. Didi came back, Soyuncu's back, Pereira's back. So they got their best players firing.
And Maddison, the nice thing to hear was that, just for him as a player, like he goes and he was listening. Most people listen to the pundits and say, stuff what they say. So when he heard Jamie Carragher saying that, no, look, he could, he could get into the box a bit more, come in late and score goals. It wasn't that. I think Jamie Carragher said he needed to actually show his numbers needed to be right for him to make the England squad. That's what he said. And
Oracle said it there.
He said, Yep. So he said he needed to get his numbers up, and he said he took that. He didn't say stuff that guy, but he said, look, the guy's right. He looked at it and he said, look, the guy's right, and he found a way to work on it, things to improve on, and he mentioned, and then the interview. And I just liked to see that. Look, this guy was challenging himself, and yes, he is a good player. He is really a good player, and it would be I mean, interesting to. I mean, if the other players of that same mentality, that would be nice to see where that ends up.
Mosa, I've got a question for you. Do you
Yo.
think this is going to be the tightest finish we've ever seen in a Premier League?
It's looking that way, right? Generally, halfway of the point of the season, you'd rarely see the two horses or the three horses actually making the gallops away from the rest of the pack. And now it's still very, very tight at the top. You see 6 teams which could actually compete for it. Even Chelsea have a fighting chance if they get a good run. And, you know, there hasn't been one of those. Still, it's
Arsenal did.
Guys, we got us one for the whole league. The whole league still has a chance, guys.
Yeah, Chelsea, the Arsenal there. I'm with you, Musa. I'm with you, bro.
If you say the whole league still has a chance, guys. Then Newcastle needs to get involved as well.
I'm convinced Chelsea in a relegation scrap. If Chelsea don't win their next 3 games, there's going to be big questions. It's going to be late. They're going to change the manager, call Gus Hiddink to come save the day. It's going to be trouble there, man. It's going to be
guys. This is the 70s, guys. You can't do it to the man, please, guys.
Man, you don't want no heart attacks there for the poor old man. But there's a lot of good noise, guys. I know is everyone writing off United here? Apart from, I mean, we know Selor's taking the cautious approach. Richard, are you writing off United? Like, because there's a lot of noise. Rooney's come out saying Rooney's literally right now come out saying Man United will win this. And one thing again, we go back to the Pogba point. He's saying Man United have to be arrogant to stay on top. So I mean, these are good signs in my opinion. These are good noises to be coming out. And so yeah, Rich.
To be honest with you, if you ask me now who's going to win the league, I'd go Man City. Genuine opinion. But at the same time, you know, I look at United's form, and then I look at what Leicester did. And once you get on a bounce of momentum, you literally can get to the end of a season and win the league. If United keep it up and they keep winning games, there's nothing to say they can't win the Premier League. If Leicester could do it, United could do it. And if they just ride that wave of momentum, they have every chance. But for me right now, it's Man City.
Yeah, I agree with Rich. 100%.
Yeah, it's definitely, I mean, all the bookies agree with that too. It is definitely theirs to lose. And the crazy thing is, guys, they are cruising. And like you were saying, Settle, they don't have a striker who's scoring. So when someone does start scoring consistently, it's going to be game over. Tonight's game, though, Liverpool-Burnley, guys. Before I start saying anything, Nick, set up how it's going to go about more or less what happens in a scenario if Liverpool did not get the result that they need tonight.
I don't know if it would be panic stations. I don't think it's ideal, especially with the form that sort of Man United and City are in. You know, as we all say now, it's an outrageous league, and teams are all around each other. But you know, if you keep dropping points, you're going to be in a bit of trouble because I think that's 4 games without a win, if I'm not mistaken, for Liverpool.
No goals.
No goals.
You're
going to have Sean Dyche come there. And double-decker bus all the way from Burnley is going to be parked in front of their goal. And they're going to just try and stay in the game. You know, he's cut from the same cloth as Steve Bruce, and he has no clue what to do tactically other than keep it tight and sort of scrap off seconds. So I think it's a game where you could potentially get a lot of confidence. I mean, Burnley either stay in a game and they make it ugly, or they absolutely get walloped. And I think that's just been the sort of stock standard for them for the last couple of years. So I think it would be early for you guys to. It would be good for you guys to get an early start, free flowing. You know, is in the back of the minds that there hasn't been a win in the last 4 for the players? I don't know. I don't think they've got the best sort of manager in place to rid them of any fears mentally. So I think they'll be right up for it today. They've had a bit of a break. They're at home. There's no fans. I saw Liverpool don't have fans anymore. They banned the whole country now. But either way, they're at home. And I think it should be a routine win. For me, it should be a routine win. And I think if they want to sort of put their foot down, sort of stamp their authority on the league title chase, it needs to come sooner rather than later. So tonight's a great opportunity, in my opinion.
Yeah. I mean,
I would think the same thing. Is that looking at United's performance, looking at United's performance, I think, they showed that they could actually. They showed that. When they went 1-0 down, they pushed really hard. They were pushing and pushing for those 2 goals. The first goal was given to them. Nonetheless, they pounced on that opportunity.
Longer, we're talking about Liverpool, eh?
Yes, I know.
No, it's okay. It's okay. But because you do this, because sorry, you do this every show. So
yes,
why do I get called out for doing it? But Nick does it whenever a drop of a hat he mentions Newcastle, but no one calls him out.
Because he makes a joke. You don't make a joke. You just
I just have a serious face. You just don't know how to read my face.
I'm just adding my 2 cents, Claudio.
Should we get the popcorn here?
Says you now getting loud again. You say I'm the one with the big head. I don't understand this. Sorry, you go.
No, I'm literally adding. No, I understand, Claudio. I'm just adding my 2 cents. I know you'll give us in depth and all that, but
I want
so I was just saying that just looking at the way Man United perform, what I expect from Liverpool today is that they're also going to be they're going to pocket. Devin De Bruyne is going to come with a double decker pass, and I'm just expecting Liverpool to try everything in all their means. To see that fight in them the whole way through until they get that goal of theirs. That's what I'm expecting from Liverpool. If I don't see that fight in them, it's going to be big questions. Well, not big questions, but Man United will start seeing opportunities here to start peeling away. That's what I feel like.
Yeah, City.
Yeah, it's going to be a big one. It's actually a big one, but I think the key difference is with Muti being in contention to start. I think unleashing Henderson in the midfield, and Henderson's not going to take shit today. If he does play in that midfield, he's going to get these guys fired up, and I think they're going to make up for the last 4 games or the 3 games that they didn't score, and they're going to hit a couple tonight, I think, and they're going to be back in it because, like you said in the last show, Silo, these are the sort of situations that Klopp likes. He likes the underdog sort of vibe. He likes being, that's his story. Any other story he can't relate to, and you know what? That's not just his story. That's Liverpool's story. I was struggling in terms of think about us for all the last years. Every season's our season. Every season.
Last 20 years, okay,
yeah. The last 2 years it's been a very weird thing for me to be like, hey, it's been strange for me, man. It's like going, oh, we know we're gonna score. We know we're doing well. It's a weird sort of thing to adjust your mind. I'm not complaining. It's amazing. It's an amazing feeling, but it is a weird mindset. But I think this is the mindset that does Liverpool well. You
can see how I was feeling growing up, eh?
Yeah. Exactly. So I think it's going to be a bit of
getting relegated, people. Jeez,
I'll never forget
anything. You haven't been to anything.
Rich. Nick was telling us how you cried when they got relegated, man. And we were thinking, man. Also, West Ham also got relegated once, man. Like, flip.
I've seen us come rock bottom 20th in a season with Avram Grant as our manager. So I've been through the most, gents.
Shame, man. You make my crying story not so bad now. I'll never forget that game where Liverpool went to back then Highbury. They went to Highbury and jeepers, they just creamed Liverpool. I think it was 3-1 where Henry literally ran right through the middle of the park. Liverpool went 1-0 up. After that, I was so distraught.
Tied Carragher's legs.
I was crying. My mom told me to grow up. I was like, no, this is enough. I can't take this shit anymore. It is bad. So talking about crying stories, I think we've all got one.
But also, I'm crying right now. West Ham got relegated, to be fair for Rich. West Ham got relegated and you guys stayed there for a year or two, eh? Yeah, you didn't come straight back up.
Yeah, we bounced back. We bounced back straight away the second time.
The first time you stayed there. The first time you stayed for 2 seasons, I think.
Yeah.
So I was also fortunate just to bounce back 1 season.
If you don't bounce back, you get stuck in that league. I'm telling you.
But you know what's nice about that league? You get to go see other stadiums as away fans. You can go see other parts of the country. Not all the
that's what you got to look forward to. You got a lot to look forward to.
No. We're not there anymore. Hey, we're there. We're not there anymore.
Guys, don't forget. Guys. Arsenal. I think it's Arsenal and Everton are the only 2 teams that have never been relegated, guys. So Arsenal's okay, man. They're okay
for now. Okay, we're talking about teams that are not okay. I mean, Villa, Newcastle. Villa have had this break. I know it's been a COVID break, but they've had a break, and we saw them last night. We saw them give City a lot to think about. Nick, I mean,
Yes.
this can't be good for you, my friend.
So, I'm just looking at the fixtures here.
3, 2, 1. Let's
Great
go.
So
discovery.
for me, unfortunately, I mean, it doesn't come at a great time playing a Villa team that's obviously looking good. You know, obviously we've got our own issues. I mean, we were celebrating yesterday another 2-year extension for Kieran Clark, and Steve Bruce had mentioned what a great deal that was, and I'm just thinking this guy's got no cooking clue. But anyway, we've got Villa this weekend. And then we've got Leeds, Everton, Crystal Palace, Southampton, Chelsea, and Man United, and then Wolves.
Jeez.
So that is
Yo.
I just
Pray
want to
for
make
you.
a side
Pray for
comment.
Nick Oak, I
I
swear.
just want to make a side comment quickly on Wolves, guys. Please, can we stop getting excited about Wolves? They're only 3 points above my team, and they're very dead average this year. I think their sort of 2-year bounce is it's been deflated. Can we all agree with
They
that?
just I don't agree with that at all. Because they're playing good football. They just don't have
They're
anyone
playing good
banging
football and
goals.
losing.
Hey,
So
I think
They're
whereas
one
it's
man
fun to
who
play
is
good
scoring
football
goals.
and
but
lose.
They've got.
one
I think
man.
it's because they got quality players. I think that's
I don't know. I don't buy that bullshit, guys.
and they make
To be
it
fair-
and they make it difficult.
to be fair,
They make it difficult for the big teams, whereas Newcastle just roll over and get.
I'm not talking about that now. I'm
Guys,
just saying, guys, we mustn't
they
get
had a
excited
backup-
about Wolves.
No.
Everyone's saying Wolves must play in Europe. They're good enough to challenge for top 6. They can't even get out of the top half.
Nick,
Come
if
on.
they had a second striker that was
But whose fault's that?
decent
Whose
enough,
fault's
I'm
that?
just saying. They spent
Their
a lot of
fault.
money. They spent a lot of money on the young Portuguese boy. He finally scored the other day. If they
I
had
don't buy
another
that
striker there,
bullshit.
they'd be doing all right.
I think they did
And-
average. I think
They're
Southampton.
they're about to sign
Southampton-
William Jose. They're about to sign William Jose from Sociedad. So hopefully he can help them out.
Yeah. Okay. Well, that's just my 2
We
cents.
hit
They
them 4-0
couldn't beat
at
the
home.
Steve
So.
Bruce. They couldn't beat the Steve Bruce side at home. And Jimenez was playing that day. They couldn't beat Steve Bruce at home. Come on, and that's not
We
easy.
cranked them
to-
4-0. That's all I care about.
But anyway, so from my perspective, I hate Villa. Villa sent us down in 2008, so I can't stand the bastards. I would
That's how
love
you
John
really
Joe Shelby. I'd love John Joe Shelby to get stuck into Jack Grealish. You know, he was probably our worst player against Arsenal. He pretty much gave them 2 goals from our corners that we had. Couldn't beat the first man, but we obviously need him to sort of get onto the ball and try and give us something. But yeah, we live in hope as Newcastle fans. Unfortunately, away from home, I don't think we'll get anything out of the game. I do, have some sort of hope that we can sort of stick in the game. You know, Steve Bruce says, stay in the game until 80 minutes and then maybe you get something. But unfortunately, it's a sad state of affairs that Villa got promoted 2 seasons ago, and they flying far ahead of us. It just shows with it like a little bit of ambition helps.
And signings, like they players that they brought in, like they look so good. Like I look at Traore, who was playing yesterday. Obviously, he's a former Chelsea youth product, and obviously he was playing for Ajax and played for Lyon. And man, he looked good. That he made such a nice. He went past De Bruyne, and man, like just players who can actually.
I agree. And the thing is, our decent players, I don't think our coach knows how to coach them. So our decent players have gone backwards. So we have a Sean Longstaff who Man United wanted at a stage when he was working under Benitez. His brother's gone ahead of him. Like he can't even defensively he's poor. He can ping a pass. That's all he can do. But his decision making is shit. But I mean, just a side note on Steve Bruce. I hear a lot of people in the media, these pundits. I don't know how they get paid for this. They should know a bit more. But I mean, they speak about Newcastle fans being, they shouldn't be blaming Bruce. For me, yes, the problem is Mike Ashley, but Steve Bruce would not be welcome at any other team above us and any other team below probably 7th. So are we talking about Newcastle in the same caliber? Potentially the size of the club, the stature of the club, they should be. Would West Ham like Steve Bruce? No. Would Leeds United? No. Everton? No. Southampton? No.
No one.
You got
Chelsea.
on.
Everton in the same bracket as you guys.
Only team that's
That's how the club. That's how the club. Claudio.
because and didn't you guys fetch him from the championship?
What? Who? Steve Bruce. Yeah, we paid £3 million to get him out of a contract at Sheffield Wednesday, who are about to get
Imagine.
relegated.
Big money. Big
Imagine.
money for big man in charge.
Yes,
He's
yes.
eating all the fish and chips there, boy.
Teams. Look at this. Teams that have fetched managers in the championship. Look how badly they're doing now. Chelsea and Newcastle. Look at that.
Well, that's I guess the thing with us at Chelsea, man. Like, even if we do give Lampard a little bit more time, what are we going to hope for? We're going to hope that he gets guys to play well or what?
Yeah, Nick, finish up there, because we still got
I
to
got
talk about
one
the
more
FA Cup.
statement. One more statement. If we don't get rid of Bruce now, we're going to be in big trouble. Our last 6 games are against Liverpool, Arsenal, Leicester, Man City, and then we'll be fighting it out with Sheffield United and Fulham. So those are like, if we get stuck into the last 6 games in a relegation battle, we're going to go with the top 4 and then the 2 around us. So we're going to be in big trouble if we don't.
And you could lose both. Ooh.
Yeah. So
Santa
that's
Maria,
my 2
Santa
cents.
Maria.
Hopefully we can get 3 points and we can pull away this weekend, but I don't know.
All right,
Away the
lads.
lad.
Yeah,
it's a long
we're
Aston
gonna do
Villa
something.
looks-
We're gonna do something slightly different. Just because of time constraints, and some of us have to be home by 9 o'clock. We're gonna look at. We've got 4 games we're gonna look at from an FA Cup perspective. And I know we normally talk about the games and then we give our predictions. But what we're gonna do is we're gonna throw in the sort of betting corner now. We're gonna do our predictions. We're gonna talk about the game, and we're gonna give our scores, and that's what we're gonna be doing. So, Rich, the first game we're gonna be talking about. West Ham versus Doncaster Rovers. Now, you don't just have to give your prediction outright. You can tell us why, obviously, guys. You can tell us why you think it's going to be the way it is. Like we normally do.
But don't give a Wonga explanation, please, guys.
What?
Wonga, take your earphones out. You're not allowed to copy anyone here. Okay, let's go.
So I back the boys to get a comfortable win in the FA Cup. David Moyes is taking it seriously this year. Even against Stockport, he put out a really strong side. Antonio started. Ben Rama started. I think in this type of game, we're going to see the likes of Yarmolenko starting, Manuel Lanzini starting. So, yeah, I think on paper, we're going to have way too much for them. We're at home. So I think it's going to be a comfortable, I would say, 3-0 win. We might throw in a few youngsters. Moyes likes to do that. So, yeah, easy win for the Hammers, and we'll see you at Wembley.
Let's go, Silo. So we go Silo, Mosa, and then obviously Nick and Wonga. Let's go.
Yeah, I think it's going to be a easy win. I think playing at home helps with the pitches. Playing some of these teams away is rubbish. Like, the pitches are utter rubbish. I think the match that Brighton played, that field was like really bad. So I think let's give West Ham a 3-0 victory.
Cool.
3-0 victory. I have no reason to actually support this, but I think West Ham should be able to take this against Doncaster Rovers. So I'll give them a 2-0 victory.
Okay, good. Nick?
I love a FA Cup upset, Rich. So, like, just for the sake of it, I think Doncaster on penalties. And then Moyes will be under pressure again from the fans. So,
you better be wrong, bro. You better be wrong.
Nothing against you.
Wonga?
Yeah, I don't see West Ham losing this. Definitely a 3-0. I think there'll be too much for Doncaster.
Yeah, I think so too. I'm going to say 2-0 to Doncaster. All right. Next game, guys. Next game. Southampton versus Arsenal.
I'm going to go with Southampton winning. I'm going to go 2-1. 2-1. Arsenal need to focus on staying up this season. So
yeah, I agree.
They can give the FA Cup away. So yeah, Southampton, Hasenhuttl is going to play, Genepo, the big boys. Yeah.
Southampton played the third round game yesterday, or 2 days ago. And the South African born guy played 78 minutes. Yeah, man. Southampton win 1-0. I don't know why Arsenal doesn't score in the FA Cup, but 1-0 to Southampton.
I'm sorry, Wonga, but yeah, man, I think this one's going to go to Southampton. I think they have a little bit more to fight for in this one, so I'll give them a 1-0 to Southampton.
Yeah, I think it's going to go to penalties again, and Arsenal. Well, not again. Sorry, I thought it was going to go to penalties with us, but I forgot we lost 2-0 in extra time. But yeah, going to go to extra time again, go to penalties, and I'm going to go for Southampton to win it.
Yeah, Wonga, let me go before you here. You know, this is tricky because, like Portugal says, this technically is Arsenal's cup, guys. You know, this is all they really play for. This is all they have played for the last 20 years. Yeah. So I think it does make things a bit tricky. But, you know, the sort of draw penalty thing is enticing. But Southampton, Wonga, they're doing so well, my friend. It's going to be a tough game. Like, I want to go with Arsenal, but it's very tough. But just because of the fact that they've got the belief that they own this cup to a certain extent, I'm going to say 2-1 Arsenal. But if I had to put money on it, I'd probably lose that money.
Nah, man, I'm confident that Arsenal can do it. Look, for me, a team in form as well, I think they're also very dangerous to play against. And Arsenal, the spirits are not the same as they were before. And I think they also started that winning streak someday. I think Southampton did beat them with that winning streak, if I'm not mistaken. And so it's also a place where they can also get some payback what happened last time. I do see Arsenal. I think Arsenal win it. I think 2-1. They can even 3-1.
Yo.
Even 3-1.
Yeah.
Right. Now for the big game of the weekend. Chelsea versus Luton.
Lampard needs a cup run. If the league doesn't go his way, he needs to deliver at least some trophies. So I think, Chelsea will wrap that one up easy, 3-0.
Yeah, I think after they played so well against Morecambe, or Morecambe, whatever it is. So I think let's give them a 4-0 victory. They're playing at home, so 4-0 victory.
Yeah, man. From my side, I just hope to see a little bit more new, players that have been on the fringe actually getting an opportunity to start and express themselves. Give guys a break, man. Actually allow them to express themselves with no hinges tied to them. So I'd go Chelsea 3-0.
Bro, guys, why is Nicholas only coming here when the show's over? What is going on, boy? Come on.
Baby, bro. It's the baby.
Baby. Guys, I'm sure we know this. Well, some of us do, but this is a London derby. Even though Luton's just on the outskirts of London, but it's a London derby. So the Luton town are going to be up for it. I'm going to go for another upset here. I think it's going to go down to extra time. Last minute winner from their big centre half. Going to come there and slot it with his big head.
Relegated actually from this.
Realistically, though, if Chelsea lose this game, does Lampard even have a job if he loses to Luton?
If I was the club owner, he wouldn't have a job at all. It's going to mess up a lot of his legacy, man. For all that he's done for the club as a player, it would be embarrassing and it would be such a sour note for him to actually bow out of this competition in this fashion. Potentially, we do have Champions League to look forward to, but it's not really exciting, man, with the way we're playing at this.
You play Atletico Madrid in the last 16, don't forget.
Yeah. Who are you playing against, Celo? What was the draw? I forgot. Oh, sorry. It was that. It's that Europa League or something like that.
Guys, we've got Silverback Leo on the line. Everyone say what's up to Silverback Leo.
Silverback Leo.
What up, Silverback?
That's the name.
Silverback Leo.
All right, but I realized I didn't give my prediction. So I'm going to say 2-0 to Chelsea. Wonga, your thoughts?
Yeah, I would say 5. I think this is a game you play. Your guys, you're not scoring, especially like your Tino Werner. Let him score his goals. At least start somewhere. I say 5. Could be even 6-0. If Chelsea really take it.
I'm worried he'd still play these guys out of position, man. Everybody would still be in fucking no man's world, which is a scary thing.
Fair enough.
All right, guys. Now for the real big game this weekend. Rich, let's hear it. This is 2 weeks that they faced each other in a row. Ole versus Klopp, but this time it's at Old Trafford, gents. It's at Old Trafford.
Look,
Well, and I want to pose this question as well. Will we see an attacking United? And by that, I mean taking the game to Liverpool.
yeah, I
But-
think so.
but-
I think at home, United are expected to take the game to the opposition, and I wouldn't be surprised if United beat Liverpool in this one. In fact, I'm going with United 2-1 win. They're at home. It's FA Cup. They're in good form. Why not?
Blasphemy.
It'll be interesting. It'll be interesting to see the lineups that both teams put out. But I think definitely I'm backing my team. Last week I was saying a draw, but I think it's a cup game. Nothing to lose. You get out the cup. You get out the cup. So yeah, Man United 2-1.
Yeah, man. It was quite weird to see Man United set up for a draw against Liverpool last week, given the run of form that they've been on. And I hope this time is a little bit different, that you guys can, come up with the front foot. So I hope Man United get a result from this one, 2-1.
Why are you hoping they get a result? I don't know. I'm the one guy. Actually, I've got no leg to stand on. I've got no leg to stand on. Chelsea are useless, so who cares? Sorry.
I think it's going to be a cracker of a game. I think both teams, like Silo said, is like they got nothing to lose. So I do think there will be more quality on the side of Liverpool on the day, but I think it will be quite a close affair. I'm going to go for a 3-2 win. Outrageous 3-2 win for Liverpool.
Did you not hear what I said on Tuesday? Man United turning this into the Soweto derby, boy. This so many goals.
Yeah.
Do not you managing your expectations up here. You need to start putting it down.
It's a cup game. We're gonna play Alex Telles at left back. We're gonna play Tonzebe. We're gonna play Dean Henderson. Johnny van der Beek. We need to let's give the other guys a chance to show up, and they will show up. You know what I mean? People will start up in the middle. Let's go.
Look, I am feeling okay. Wonga, you go.
Yeah, look, I don't see, man. No, Man United are going to set up the same way. I don't see it as it being. I don't even think they set up for the draw against Liverpool. To be honest with you, I think it's madness trying to go and attack Liverpool full out. Taking them gun for gun, you'll lose. But if that being said, Liverpool, I think, watching what the last game, it was. They could have won the game in the first, because they're good at keeping leads. They could have won the game in the first 10, 15 minutes. So I think they're asking themselves this question: is can they put the ball in the back of the net and get the first goals? And I think they can. So I think I think this match will turn out probably a 2-1 to Liverpool at the end of the day.
Yes, Wonga returning the favor, because you see what happens, guys, when you return the favor. You get some good feedback. Thank you for sharing the love, Wonga. Thank you. Guys, listen, a lot's going to ride on tonight. A lot's going to ride on if Matip can come through this not getting injured. If he comes out this and he's fit for Sunday's game, I think United are in big trouble. I don't think Klopp's going to mess around. I don't think he's going to mess around. Yeah, and I think it's probably going to be. It depends on tonight, obviously. It depends on how it goes. If they don't get a result,
What's Nicholas saying? I was wearing a red one on Tuesday. Nicholas, come on. I'm wearing a red shirt on Tuesday. Go back to the YouTube show and check the show. I was wearing a red one on Tuesday. Come on, Nicholas.
Yeah, anyway, to my point, I'm just going to finish it off. Yeah, I'm going to say it's going to be a 2-0 Liverpool. That's what I'm going to go with on Sunday. Again, like I said, a lot rides on this evening's result, which I think they're gonna put Burnley away. So I think the confidence is slowly going to be coming back, and they're all going to start singing. It's all coming back to us. Dun-dun-dun-dun. Anyway, guys, final thoughts before we head out. Let's go.
I was thinking. Actually, Frank Lampard is going to coach West Ham in the future.
Yeah,
That's actually
he's back next week if you want.
I'm hopeful that Steve Bruce is sacked by the end of next week. Please, Lord.
Me right now, my hopes are just lying on us signing that Martin Utegaard.
There's a lot of hope on that player. A little Madrid player. Okay, guys, I've got a new slogan. I've got one. You let me know if this works. Okay. And please be critical. You know, for Tuesdays, the cool down, we go, if you don't know what to be cool. Today, we're going to say, now in Portuguese, the word bruxa means witch, but it can also be seen as like, a wizard, witch doctor. So I'm going to say this, guys. For Chelsea, for Arsenal, if you're not sure about the future, ask the Brusha. Okay.
Never do that.
You just put a curse on all those teams. You know that, Klaus.
Yeah. They're gonna finish like number 9 and 10 in the league, and Southampton and West Ham are gonna finish 7 and 8.
Yeah.
So we're throwing the bones out. That's all right. Everyone have a good evening. Thank you for tuning in. Enjoy Liverpool win tonight. We know it's going to be a goodie, and we'll see you on Tuesday. Nicholas says I should go home. You go home. You go home, Nicholas.
Cheers.